Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Gray Area here on the Black Nun Unfiltered Network, also simulcasting on the Sparta HQ Network. I'm Mr. Bennett, joined by my partner as always.
This is Sparta!
The Ghost of Sparta, a.k.a. Peter, a.k.a. Baliotis. Yasu, my brother, what is going on?
What is going on, my man? There's one thing. You're pointing the wrong way. You're pointing this way. It's supposed to be this way.
I thought I got you. I'm looking this way here, so... Okay. All right. I'll try to get it better next time. But in any event, how you doing tonight, sir?
Another day, another dollar, another penny. You know how it is.
I heard that. Well, I continue living out of a suitcase. So basically, I parachute in on Friday early evening, and then I fly out. I got a 6 a.m. flight tomorrow morning. And so I got to leave the house by 3, get to the airport at 4, and do all that business of check-in and whatnot, and then get in again. I'll be down in southern Georgia by tomorrow morning, and then I got a 2.5-hour drive to get to the job site. So this has been my life over the last few weeks. I haven't done this in quite some time, but certainly it's a new experience. Lots of new things that I'm seeing and learning, and so just trying to grab hold of it. So this is my thing. So I try to make my weekends as normal as possible. Like I cook dinner before, because apparently like my family just forgets because I'm not here. I guess they forget to cook for themselves or whatever. So it's like, you guys didn't even make yourselves any vegetables or anything. So I usually do stir fry on Sundays. So it's like I don't want to leave the house and have you guys eating non-nutritious meals again. So I made dinner before I got home.
You cook through a whole week?
No. I probably, if I cook certainly on Sundays, that'll get us through a couple days, and then I may do it like one more time. Sometimes I'll do Saturday dinner as well. But Sunday is when I do a lot of the vegetables and a lot of things, and they'll just feed off of those during the week. And then you may add other meats and whatnot that they may make fresh to go with that. But that fried rice. So I try to have those things available for them so that they can, certainly have a decent, more balanced meals and not always just getting the takeout all the time. But certainly, again, as you come in tonight, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you just hit the like button. Certainly, as you come in tonight, on both platforms, visit the Sparta HQ Network, show them some love over there as well as here. And certainly consider dropping a Cash App or a Super Chat to the Black Man Unfiltered Network. And shortly, the Sparta HQ Network is about to get monetized as well. So, certainly you can show that channel some love also. And, anything that you want to give to us personally, certainly you see our Cash App scrolling at the bottom of the screen. We appreciate any support that you may give us in this space. But yeah, certainly, like I said, this may even go with some of the topic tonight, in terms of, how do you travel? Like, how do I like to dress for business travel? And so I like to keep it light. I like, track suits, and I like, things that can be very flexible and mobile in. So I can get from destination, from the shuttle to the plane to the rental, and have a long drive. So I don't like to dress too heavy, but I like to have very flexible clothing as I travel, and just to stay comfortable. So yeah, so it's new, but I think every week I'm kind of getting better. I'm mostly packed now, as a matter of fact. So it's a lot matter of just getting in, dumping old laundry out, putting new laundry in, and just reloading. And so with each week, I'm getting better at it. So it's been a very fruitful experience, and definitely looking to get more out of it.
So how many more weeks do you have to do this? Like another week or two?
Not sure. At least 2 more weeks I have to do this. Now again, once we get into mid-August, it may lessen. Maybe I may go every other week, but there's no time to seem like it's not slowing down anytime soon. But the pattern is pretty much the same, though. I'm either coming home Thursday night or Friday night, and then fly out first thing Monday morning. They have almost like a regular, it's almost like a shuttle kind of plane service flying out of Newark. And, so those flights are pretty consistent. So I can book those pretty much up until like Friday, because a lot of times you don't know what the next week's going to look like until that Friday. Like, how much did we get done this week? And what are we looking at for next week? So sometimes you do all that there, but the hotel that we're staying at, I mean, they kind of getting on first name basis there, so they're pretty regular. The rental car is pretty easy. So like I said, it's just becoming a routine, and so it's just a matter of whether I come home Thursday night or Friday night is really the main distinction. They haven't told us that we had to stay through a weekend as of yet, But you know, you have to brace for that too, if in fact that does happen.
That gonna mess up with my operation. So we're not having that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm fortunate certainly at this point. You know, my kids are grown, so it's not like you know, my wife, she needs to, you know, need me, you know, to support the kids or whatever. And you know, and she, you know, she works pretty hard herself. So you know, obviously being away from her is probably like the toughest thing. And so you know, like I said earlier, you know, sometimes you got to make up for lost time on the weekend as much as you can, and then yeah, like I said, you're flying out again. So
That
so
would
you
be
try to.
very difficult for me personally because I'm already a homebody and traveling away from home from work. That part I would never be happy about.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I enjoy I overall I enjoy traveling. I love airplanes. I've always loved. Even as, I remember as a kid, getting on a jet airplane was like the most exciting thing like ever. I remember my first time at Newark Airport when I was a kid, and even to this day, to me the greatest feeling is taking off and landing. I still kind of applaud. That's one thing also I noticed as of late that people used to applaud
I
when a
remember that.
when a plane touched down. And I guess it's so routine now that people just don't do that anymore. But I'm still that guy. When I get on a plane, I actually touch the plane. Like I say, you know, I just kind of say a little prayer as I get on the plane. It'll just get me home, or get, you know, get to my destination safely. And then when I get off, if people, I do, and I don't make a big thing of it, but I do a little thank you Jesus and a little clap to myself or whatever. Because again, you take things for granted that you can just get home on these aircraft, and you know. But I still do that. But I remember maybe 5 years ago, everybody would applaud if a plane touched down safely. And now people just, you know, they just take it for
Don't need
granted.
to do that
So
anymore.
yeah, absolutely. Shout out
Like
to
I
Lost in
remember,
Translation in the building tonight. Good to see you as always. Appreciate your support.
I remember last time I went to Greece. I know it's been years since I've been to Greece, but when we landed to Greece, everybody applauded. It was a big thing, and in Greece it's a little different. They don't bring the shuttle to you. You have to literally walk down the ramp,
Okay, right.
walk to the you know, suitcase or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
But
bags going in.
I was one of those guys who would literally touch the ground. What's going on, my man? Long time no see. Um, and I was one of the few people who actually touched the ground. I was like the only one. My mom
Yeah,
looking, what the fuck you doing? You know, like, oh, you know, I haven't been here in years. I got to touch the holy ground. I went to work, and she's
yeah.
looking at me, shaking her head like, Jesus, I can't take you anywhere.
Yeah, no, I'm still humbled. I still appreciate coming up and going down. Like I said, I think airplanes to me is still the most fascinating thing that I get to see on a weekly basis, how they work and how we got here. I mean, if you go back to the Wright brothers and all those things that people used to, you know, how they even came to being. Again, shout out to True North Beer Company. Yes, congrats on certainly getting to 500 followers. Definitely very well deserved. I know, you know, so Pete, I know you put a lot of work in, and you know, so
Oh, this
always
is the
a big
beginning. We're just
yeah,
this is getting warmed up here.
yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
and another thing I forgot about you, North. You need to come on the channel for our little interview you promised us.
There you go. There you go. So I think he was waiting for this moment. So now you can certainly you can see doing that. I appreciate. Yep, definitely appreciate you know, your support there, and also shout out to Marianne Constantine. Always, you know, supports us. Also on the different panels. He was on the panel the other night when we were talking about the passing of Hulk Hogan. So again, rest in peace to Hulk Hogan, and we certainly chopped that up. And again, I talked about certainly how I go all the way back with going back in the late '70s. I remember when he came to when it was the WWF, and his sort of rise from there. So I definitely, so we had a good time on that show, sort of chopping it up. And yeah, I mean, I think I'll still make the case to this day. He's probably the GOAT of professional wrestling, whether you like him personally or not, or certainly towards the end of his life. But you got to give him credit where it's due. So that was certainly a good show to certainly chop it up. And
It was a very good show because when you talk about his career, we talk about a little bit everything. That's another thing about Operation Hangout. We might have a topic, And that's why I named that the hangout, because we drift off all the time and talk about other topics too.
Mhm.
So those 2 hours you guys are with us, it's not gonna be a boring 2 hours just talking about Hulk Hogan's whole career. We're gonna talk. We talked about NWO. We talked about WCW, TNA, no, AEW. We talked about everything. So it was a very exciting episode overall.
Absolutely.
So I was actually glad. I'm like, we butt heads at some point. We all gonna butt heads.
Sure.
We keep it very respectful. And that's the thing. That's
Absolutely.
one thing I
Absolutely.
really was stressing with my guys, my team. Like, listen, we might butt heads, but we gotta be stressful. That's why I always put the banner respectful, no politics, and so on. On at least on the shows I host personally.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, let's get into this thing. So again, the whole topic of the show tonight. Again, we're talking about just how's a man put himself together, and what does that look like? Certainly in 2025, and where the future is. So we've had several shows in the past talking about grooming, and I know I've had rants in the past in terms of attire, like at restaurants and whatnot, and what's appropriate and not appropriate to wear. And we talked about how, a lot of people go to what, I mean, we're talking nice restaurants. We're not talking about Chili's or Applebee's or whatever. We're talking about nice restaurants where you got to make a reservation. And a lot of times people come in kind of, not necessarily. Now, again, I'm not saying dress to the nines, but, my thing has always been you have to certainly dress, I think, where it's appropriate. And, I think there's a place and time for anything, any kind of dress or no dress at all. I think there's a time and a place for everything. But my thing is always, when certain times come, certainly you want to certainly be at your best, or dress at least at where the level should be. But I'll turn it over to you. Certainly, what was your thoughts when you talked about the subject, and how you want to frame the conversation tonight before we go on? Yes, just want to talk about this loss. Yes, superstar Billy Graham. I talked about him a lot because a lot of people don't understand that basically superstar Billy Graham is really the reason for not only Hulk Hogan but Jesse the Body Ventura. Both of those guys certainly modeled their careers after superstar Billy Graham. So again, the reflection of perfection, your number one selection. Yes, I remember all those catchphrases from superstar Billy Graham. He passed a couple years as well, so certainly rest in peace to him. But yeah, he was certainly a pioneer when it came to not only the physique of what a professional wrestler was, but also the ability to cut a promo. It was a masterclass watching him, so certainly respect out to him. So you can go ahead. I just wanted to acknowledge his comment before we went on.
You good, man. So I had a couple motivations on behind today's show. One of it was the whole, I cannot keep forgetting the conversation we had a few months ago about you went out with dinner with your wife and the sneakers was bugging the crap out of you. And the second motivation part behind it, and it was mostly people keep making a comment, oh, somebody with my type of beard cannot dress good. And I'm like, really? Like, because somebody has a beard, he cannot dress good? Putting yourself together is partial grooming, I believe. Not only, throwing a shirt on and, slicking your hair and call it a day. It's grooming in hair, beard, or whatever the case you have, what kind of rocking style you're looking for. And the third one is people are lazy. People are lazy now these days. They don't want to take the time and literally go get a haircut. Or, good example, do a beard trim. I do one every once a month to trim my beard. So, and the person that actually I give him so much credit for, and check out the channel that Dancy Bearded. His beard is incredible. I think it's at 12 inches right now or something like that. And he has it chiseled, perfect spot, everything. Yeah, he puts some time in the bathroom every day after he showers. He washes his beard, he condition it, he puts heat treat to it, he put oil, butter on it. He does all the right steps like I do. Like I literally, depends on the day. Some days I wash my beard every other day. So like tomorrow's a wash day. So tomorrow I'll take a few extra minutes in the bathroom, put my, I use a heating brush versus a blow dryer. Either one works fine. And you can get a nice look in your beard.
Now, do you comb your beard? Is that something
Yes,
that you? Okay,
yes.
all right.
So
I said
one thing I want to clear out, and I know Truth North is going to jump in the comments and minutes when I say this. There's just two kinds of combs you want to get: funeral combs and a good comb. The funeral combs, what we call it in the beer world, is those combs you get in the clipper sets.
Mhm.
They come in. Don't use on your beard because they're stamped out and they have little edges and they can actually damage your beard. A wooden comb is very good. A Kent comb is very good. A Detroit Brewing Company is a good comb. There are so many good combs out there. Wooden, you can't go wrong with that. That is
Mhm.
go to. You have the problem, right, Paul? The hair, yours.
I can't I can't say that I can't say that I have. I just try to avoid like I said, a 5 o'clock shadow. So usually on a daily basis, but that just because you don't have any hair, that doesn't mean you don't have scalp maintenance. So again, you have to make sure
Exactly,
that
man, right?
that you're
It's funny you
conditioning
say
your
that.
scalp. You put on, protectant, especially when you're outside. If you're not wearing a cap or any kind of hat, you got to make sure SPF. Because the times I've gone out and I didn't have a hat on and whatnot, and you didn't feel it necessarily. You just understand. You start seeing some flaking on your scalp because again, you had a little bit of sunburn there because again, you weren't paying attention or at least not keep your head protected. So SPF on the head is certainly something that's important, especially after shaving. Toning is certainly important. Certainly for your bald maintenance. Making sure you use a good toner so you prevent razor bumps from forming and ingrown hairs from forming certainly on your scalp. So those things are certainly important for your grooming care as well. And of course, if you shave your face on a daily basis, then making sure that you're using the proper razors and the proper technique. Like I said, I went through I went through a change where I used to use a lot of the Gillette products, the 3 blade, 4 blade, 5 blade cartridge systems. And maybe about 7, 8 years ago, I actually went old school. I went back to what my dad used to use, but basically the dual safety razor, dual edge safety razor.
Yeah, that's what I use.
Yeah, from back in the day. So I started going back to that, and I got significantly less cuts. Now again, finding the right one was an issue because again, some just the way they're designed, some are a lot more aggressive. Choosing the right razor blades is also important. So it took me a while to find the right one. And I actually, when the one I had it broke after a few years, I went and got another one, but it was too aggressive, and I found another one. So I get mine. It's actually a single edge razor, which is also old school as well. But again, I get significantly fewer cuts and nicks. Certainly using that as well. It's very safe, and the way it's shaped and designed. I get mine from a company called Supply Co. And they, certainly designed in such a way where it perfectly sits on your face. The angle is already preset, so all you gotta do is just kind of move it. And there's, like I said, very little nicks and cuts with it. So I use that on my face, and I use a 6 head shaver, 7 head shaver on my head. And so that again also prevents nicks and cuts. Obviously, this is not there's no straight lines or edges on my head. So you're dealing with a round surface and not a straight one. Whereas a lot of the razors have a straight edge. And so, definitely making sure that, using the shaver daily. It's almost like if you ever seen like a Norelco shaver or, I know Pitbull, I think they were one of the first ones that came out with these head shavers, and now they're pretty popular. So I've tried the 4 head, the 5 head, and now I'm up to a 7 head. And so that works great for me. The only thing I would recommend for a person who's going to shave their head using one of those products, I have to recommend one thing for you. Either you have to use electric shave or Atra pre-electric shave. But I prefer, because I've used both over the years, I prefer the electric shave because what it does is it stiffens your hair, so it almost kind of makes them stand up. And what it also does is it provides an excellent glide path. If you just put one of those head shavers on your head and start shaving, let's say after the shower, what have you, it doesn't move freely over your head. The electric shave provides a nice glide pattern. It's a much more comfortable shave. It's a much closer shave. And again, you don't get the nicks and cuts that you would, get using a regular razor. But a lot of guys who gone bald and have different ways of shaving their heads, I try to tell them, it's like, look, just try the electric shave. You can get it anywhere, and try that before you do it, and especially and see what kind of results that you get from it. So definitely you have to make sure that you take care of that kind of maintenance. So again, just because you have no hair, or you're in the practice of keeping no facial or hair in your head, you still got to put some work in to make sure that you stay clean. I hate the 5 o'clock shadow, and I hate because obviously I've gone bald in certain areas of my head. So again, you want to make sure that you have an even surface. And with the head shaving, I can do that a couple times a day. 5 o'clock shadow, I can just go up and just touch it up again and be ready to go. And yes, I'm like Lost. Yes, I also have several hats. Also, I'm a baseball cap guy. And so I have several baseball caps that I'll use. I haven't gotten into like the mature game. So, like the fedoras and those type of hats or what have you. I haven't developed that kind of style yet. That's very OG for me. And so I haven't picked that up yet. I think it makes me look a little bit older than I want to present myself at this point. So I'm usually a cap, or I'm a Kango guy. I still wear Kangos. I still wear Kango caps. Certainly, I love that style. In fact, my daughter, she just picked up a cap from the Kango store in New York recently, and so I still appreciate those. But but certainly,
what beanie? Do you wear those once in a while?
What's that?
A beanie? Do you wear one of those
in the wintertime? Yeah, just a knit beanie on the head in the wintertime, because that's the thing. Because I don't have any hair, one thing I do have to be mindful of is when the weather is very cold. I seem like I'm a little bit more sensitive to cold with a shaved head, but I got to even be mindful of that even when I'm indoors. So it's weird. This job site that I'm at, like I said, I'm in southern Georgia, and it's like 100 degrees down there every day. But for some reason, the manager in there, he keeps the temperature like at 70 degrees. So the room is freezing. So I'm wearing a baseball cap inside. And it's like it's just a big joke now. Like, someone goes over and adjusts it to 72, comes in, who changed the thermostat to 72. So everybody complains about the cold in there. And like I said, for me, I have to be particularly careful because again, if you get that air in the head, you start feeling chillier than you want to be. So I just wear the cap all the time.
Debunk a myth here. A lot of people think, I'll use my beard for example, beard specifically. Everybody thinks, oh, you have a beard, you're hot always. Is actually the opposite, believe it or not. If you have a beard, it keeps all the humidity and cools you down a lot easier with the beard. The same thing in the winter, it keeps you nice and warm. So it's a win-win with beards. First, awesome. And now head is a whole different story. But I want to touch base what you said about bald head, because obviously, if you guys remember, when I first started my channel, it was grooming reviews. And I got so much heat when I said this, and you kind of proved it as a bald brother you are, Paul. You still have to put shampoo in your head a little bit. I'm not saying you put as much as I do. A little quarter, it'll be going a long way because you still have those particles there. It's a different skin versus your face. You still have to hit it with a wash. Conditioner, you can go without, personally. But you can definitely with conditioner. You can exfoliate. You could put moisturizer. You can do everything you need to do.
Yeah.
It's like you have hair, but you still need to do that because they care of the skin.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
understand that. And that's why. And I know this doesn't sound. Before you say pause, I know you're going to say that. That's why Paul, technically, if you see his skin, is like sparkly clean, has no acne, no wrinkles, no nothing, because he puts work into his skin, and that's a major thing most men don't. There are a lot of companies out there, like Alpha Male, for example, who gives you a starter kit right there. It goes AM, PM, AM, PM. You don't have to guess anything, and there you go. That's all the homework for you. Yeah. Some people don't want to do the homework. Which one I need, one of that, and that's the thing. And it's like,
skincare I got on probably maybe 30 years ago. Certainly, because guys back then, you just wash your face. You use the same. Now, I don't know if growing up that they teach you the one wash rag or two, but growing up you had the one wash rag until you got some knowledge to two wash rags. You would use that wash rag all over your body. You did, again, back then you didn't know any better. But yeah, definitely you want the two wash rags, and sometimes three, because sometimes you want one for your face and your head, and then also one for your body, and then one certainly for your private parts or what have you. So some people would even institute three of those. Certainly I got some education about, facial care, at least at the minimum, you wash, sometimes you apply a scrub. you tone and you moisturize, and you just keep, you just kind of keep that routine. So that's something I learned pretty early on, and I've just something that is just kept up with me certainly over the years. But yeah, certainly taking care of your skin, using exfoliants and whatnot. I've always been on that. I never felt any kind of way about it. Guys like, oh man, you're being like a girl or whatever. But I'm saying, I'm sorry.
I don't care.
It's like,
I'm a girl.
guys. You need to take care of your skin. You certainly need to look good and avoid premature aging of your skin, especially if you're out in the sun. SPF. Certainly is something very important. So yeah, I just when it comes to grooming, I put a lot of work
when I started taking care of myself. I was like, I'm a man like you were. I don't care. The cheapest is the better. I thought. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And like I used to get it like for my face. I used to use hand soap. That's what I used to wash my face with.
Yeah.
And afterwards, I used to just get some rubbing alcohol and call it a day. Nothing crazy. But I didn't really get into skincare really about almost 6 years ago. And it was like, again, I got kicked credit to Hugh's wife. She goes, dude, you got nice skin. You just have acne issues. A good face wash, a little, moisturizer can go a long way, and some sunblock.
Mm-hmm.
I took her, I didn't know. And I was with my ex at the time. She goes, I'll do the homework for you. She got me everything. She explained it. She broke down the detail. This is what you need, what you don't need. And after that was just history. I just started doing research and I learned it.
Yeah. And I think you also need to know what type of skin you have. Do you have oily skin? Do you have dry skin? Or do you have combinations? Some people have what's called that T-zone that's oily here and dry everywhere else. I think you need to know, because, again, to just take a product off the shelf to start, even if it's a good product. But, again, if it doesn't treat oily skin, if that's your problem, especially if you're prone to breakouts and acne and whatnot, get your skin analyzed. And by someone who knows. I remember years ago, I went to this thing. They had this machine. It's sort of like this blue light machine, and you put your face in it, and it would actually, you look at yourself. You look kind of freaky when you're looking at it, but it had all these zones, these lighted zones that would tell you, okay, these are your oily areas and whatnot. And once I found that out, then I knew what to use and what not to use. Again, even if it's a good product. So again, men, know what it is that you what you're dealing with before just picking a product and start using it. You can be doing more damage to your skin. And certainly, as Pete said about the soap, yeah, I mean, those soaps really can dry your skin out, and you put alcohol on top of that. So again, even now, I tend to use toners without alcohol in them, because, again, especially after shaving, you don't want necessarily the burn. So I tend to use ones that use agents that still do a deep cleanse, but again, you don't get that razor burn that you do using alcohol based products.
So first, when I learned what kind of skin I have, my cousin's daughter, who does makeup professionally and all that stuff, and I was kind of bullshitting her. I go, how do you know what kind of skin? He goes, by your nose. I'm like, by my nose. What about my nose? I go to her. She goes, I'm like, why are you petting my nose? She goes,
you just take the oil right off it.
She goes, the nose is the only area in your face you will know instantly, because that's one place you don't really sweat as much.
Mm-hmm.
I go, really? He goes, yeah. So she goes, you have oily skin, and you're a chef, so you get oily on top of sweat is just bad combination. So
and more oil, because if you're cooking with the oil, you're probably gonna get some oil,
grease, and all that stuff. And the hat I wear on top of that doesn't help either, because it's not because the hat creates acne; it traps the sweat right here. Mm-hmm. So I'm sweating with oil skin and trapping that, and like a triple whammy. So that's why I got what I got. Now with shaving, again, I use just like you did, Gillette and all that stuff. And once I realized those strips they have in it, they have chemicals in there that make your hair grow faster, like biotin in it. I'm like, oh, that's kind of pointless. And so I went.
Well, not for them, because they're saying if that's the case, then they make you shave more often. So yeah.
So that's what I was introduced to auto shaving. I was like looking into it, and this is before they shut down all locations. Back in 24, a year ago, pretty much, they shut down all store locations. Now
I didn't know that.
I literally found out about an hour ago before some research for the show.
Right.
And I kind of disappointed, because you could touch the razors, see how aggressive you wanted it. Because when I bought my first kit, I went to New Jersey, down your woods, one of those high-end malls. I can't remember which
Right.
one it was.
Right.
And this is a high-end product. You are going to drop 120 for a whole year because you get a big set. You know, the jug is like that big, and a little soap.
It goes a long, yeah.
Oh,
That I
yes,
did
it
notice.
does.
It goes a long
And
way.
the
Shaving
oil,
cream, oh yeah.
the
Definitely.
pre-shave oil goes a long way. I always told people, shower first, then shave. It
Yes.
opens the pores. Put
Yes.
the oil on, and don't go with the grain. Go against the grain because you get a closer shave.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody looked at me, even my father, and like, that's not gonna happen. I'm like, try it. And my dad tried the whole product. And goes, he didn't like the safety razor because it was too much work with the shampoo and everything
Sure.
for him. But he liked the idea he got against some grain and hold the shave longer and the shower part. So one thing I did like about his company is the products are all natural. One thing I did like about that is high-end barbers use it. Like even my barber technically uses stuff right now. And you get all three steps: pre-shave, a shaving, and an aftershave. Can't go wrong.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure.
like I said, when I went there, I still have my very first razor, and they don't make razors as much anymore. They contract out, but they still use the oils and all that stuff in house. They make. But went to a store, they have a master barber in house. If you want to learn how to shave with a straight razor or a safety razor, and he will break it down for you. If you still have questions, he would like to let's go into the shop, ladder you up, and let's do it together. Oh, that's pretty cool. So that's one thing when they sell you a safety razor, they're going to ladder you up and actually show you how to do a safety razor.
Yeah.
And that's my next goal: learn how to shave because I like how I have my line nice and sharp on my beard.
Right.
And only way you're going to do that with with a safety razor, it is a lot of work. End of the day, to prep yourself, but it's worth it. Take extra 10 minutes to prep yourself. It makes it a night and a day process.
Well, what I also like about it as well is, and again, I get, like I said, just with the way my life is now, it can get very busy with all the travel and from plane to plane or whatever. So, but I think a lot of it is, again, how do you set up your day? I kind of look at it that way. I think if you start your day sort of in chaos or just kind of running and just grabbing something, the whole day doesn't really go well. So I think that spending that extra 10, 15 minutes like Peter was talking about to get yourself together, to do the proper grooming that you need, I think your day just kind of goes better. I think that it's one of those things that you have authority over. I know some guys, sleep late, you hit snooze 2 or 3 times. By the time you wake up, you're running late. But again, putting that personal care on yourself, it's just an attitude that you walk through. That I did the work to look my best, and somehow when you go through your day, you just function at your best because again, you put that time to take care of you, and So I think that is I think it's a mindset that spending that extra time versus just rolling out of bed. Some guys don't even shower when they roll out of bed or what have you, and they just put something on and spray themselves with something and just out the door because you didn't take the proper time for the grooming, the shaving, the skincare, and all those things that you need to to go out there in whatever profession that you're in to look and feel and smell your best.
So my typical routine, at least for work, is about 45 minutes in the morning. 30 to 45 minutes depends, how many times I hit the snooze button. And I mean, from making my bed, and I know it sounds silly making your bed, but it makes your day start well. When you make
it does, yeah.
I watch the general.
I don't always do it, but you're right. It's just those little habits that you do, having a routine every day. Yeah, certainly I think it makes sure that your day starts.
So I learned this from a YouTube general guy. He was giving a speech and he said, and I have to find a video. He says, the first task of the day is making your bed. If you made you did your first task, what's the next task? And I took that. Legitimately, I took that. So my routine is washing brushing my teeth, obviously, washing my face, oiling my beard, brushing my beard out, combing it, whatever. Because I like to exfoliate in the morning a little bit with a burr brush. Then I hit with a comb, just get it straight, like the way I like it. I used to be a shower in the morning person. I changed that when I became a professional chef because it's really the point to shower in the morning. By the time I get home, I'm all sweat. I got to shower again. So I feel it's better just shower at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would, and sometimes I do. Like obviously, I'll be taking a shower tonight since I have such an early start in the morning. But a lot of times I do tend to overheat, and I sweat through the night a lot of times, so I just feel fresher. Certainly in the morning, especially if I have things to do in the morning. Certainly that shower is definitely like a pick me up to kind of get me going. And obviously, if I did a lot of stuff outside, if I come home sweating, obviously I take certainly a shower before bed. But that sometimes that morning shower is what I need to kind of get everything kind of started. Especially again, if I'm shaving in the morning, and if you do shower at nighttime, so what do you do in the morning then? You just wash your face and that
I
sort
wash
of
my
thing.
face. I put exfoliate, or I use those mini Acme pads to wipe my face off after I wash it. Then I put one cream. It is a anti-acne cream, so it helps with the. I let that dry. Then as that's drying, I hit the beard with oil. I comb it out, like I said. By the time I comb that stuff dries pretty fast. Then I put moisturizer with sunblock in it, and I call it a day after that. Then I get dressed and do whatever I need to do. Gotcha. Now at night, I do a little reverse, and if Truth Beard is probably going to yell at me, and Dan C is going to yell at me. I usually do. You're supposed to wash your beard in the morning. They say is better, and use your heat treat in the morning. But I do it at night. It's the way of my lifestyle work. So let's say if it's I come home, walk Alex, do my thing, then I can eat dinner, and then I go right to the shower. So after I'm showering, I usually wash the beard and condition it. That's every other day. Like I said, tonight wasn't a beard wash today. Tomorrow will be. So every day I come out of bed, the first thing I do is put oil in the beard. The number one thing, I want that to soak up as much as possible, and I want to get ready to prep my heating brush. I turn it on. You don't want to go over 360. My sweet part is 340, 320 is my sweet spot for me. How I tell people remember that is remember how many days of the year. Pretty much, that's the best way to remember it. Right. So, do my face, lotion my body spray, whatever I need to do, I do it. Then I hit the heat. I usually go up, all the way up, left, right, back down, and I repeat the process 2-3 times. Once I'm done with that, I comb it out a little bit, make sure I didn't miss anything. Then I hit it with beer butter. Once the beer butter is in, then I hit it with a comb. The reason you want to hit it with a comb again with the beer butter, you're spreading the products right across the face. So it's not like, okay, you got a chunk here, but nothing down here. Remember, this has been growing longer, but then this up here. So you want to help the old shoulders, I call them, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. Now tell me, what do you think is the number one factor in your beard growth? Like what grows? Because I know you're putting oils, you're washing it, you're putting oils on it, but is there something that you take that makes your beard grow? And in particular, how are you able to maintain a beard the way yours is or others if your diet is bad?
Ooh, that's a multiple question answer. Okay, so first of all, you need a decent nutrition. I don't care what kind of crazy Houdini or what kind of voodoo magic you have. If you don't have a healthy diet and hydration, your beer is going to be retarded. Pretty much, that's the best way I can put it. That's one. The only vitamin you really need to add to your diet, and then you have it naturally, is biotin. That's the only one. All these snake oils we have, it says, oh, guess what? You need, got this, and you grow your beard 3 inches in a month. You're on crack. Very simple. That's the best way I can put it. There are a combination of oils like peppermint. Peppermint is proven studies that will help it boost a little bit. I'm not talking you're going to grow 6 inches in a month. or 2 inches a month.
Mm-hmm.
Your average is about a quarter a month, I believe it is. I might be wrong on that number.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the biotin boosts this a little bit. But here's the downfall with the biotin. Let's say you just want to grow your beard, but you don't want to grow your hair faster. That's going to grow with it. All right. And your nails are going to grow with it too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a multiple thing. So you can do one versus the other, unfortunately. If it says on the bottle only for beards, that's false.
So you can't put something topical on your beard, just something that you rub in that makes your beard grow longer.
You could. Dr. Nick's a great man stuff, I believe it is. I'll look it up right now. I'm gonna pull his website up right now. I actually talked to Dr. Nick. He's a incredible man. He's out of Boston. I'm pretty sure he has a degree in this. I'm gonna share my screen part really fast so you guys can watch this together. Here it is. There you go.
Okay, let me bring it up. Hang on.
Okay, thank you. All right, this is the owner of the company, Dr. Nick. Incredible guy. I spoke to him. He's located out of business. He owns several businesses, but this is his passion. He does this because he loves beards. So oil-wise, products here. Beard oil. Growth stimulant. Here we go. This will boost a little bit, not much. And it has jojoba, sesame, and some other ingredients. Let me if I can find the ingredients on the website. He usually keeps them around here somewhere.
Well, he's kind of highlighting some now, like rosemary. I saw.
Yep. Where is it? I missed it. I didn't see it.
Yeah, the scroll at the beginning. It kind of lists the products up there.
Peppermint and rosemary are two main top ingredients that help you grow your beard. Jojoba oil is another one. Sesame oil is a great one. So if you know the right blend, you can do this by yourself too. You don't need to get it from him. But if you don't want to do it, you can get it from him. You know what I'm saying? Gotcha. So another product is beer butter. Where is it? Beer butter. That's the second product I recommend to anybody. It's something you put on at night, right before, about 30 minutes before you go to bed. You don't have to wait 30 minutes. You can put it right before bed. Unlike 30 minutes before bed, it absorbs right into the hair very well. It's another form of conditioner. You see me in person several times, and you always see me with my beard on. I'm like, I don't think you ever see me when I clean shaved.
No, I never. No.
But what's one thing about my beard? I know you have never touched my beard, thank God. But one thing you have seen my beard is always very soft, right? You can tell.
Well, again, I wouldn't know. I haven't touched it.
Looking at it, you can tell.
I couldn't tell. You could be you could that thing could be hard as wallpaper.
Everybody who has touched my beard, and I mean this. I know even my barber, he goes like, I can't deal with your beard. It's too soft. Like he goes, and it's not too soft. He cannot deal with it. He's not used to soft hair from a beard guy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, and there are conditioner washes. I love his stuff. This stuff is one of the companies I go for. Lear Beard is another one. Just watch when and some of these companies are on Amazon too. Just watch when you buy some on Amazon, because a lot of them have the worst product you can put in your beard is silicone. It will destroy your beard. I don't care what you do to your beard. It's going to destroy your beard completely. It's just simple. Same thing with your hair. Do not put silicone. Your face, silicone. Anything you cannot pronounce or has a big name, 90% of the time is a form of silicone you want to stay away from.
Yeah. So stay with the natural products, the natural oils and whatnot. So
bingo.
Best way to go forward.
Bingo.
Yeah. Well, I think we covered, certainly the grooming aspect of it in terms of hygiene, hair maintenance, and again, whether you have hair or not, you still need to take care of your head with that. So again, I use balms, just different balms on my head, SPF. Again, all those things are essential things so that you don't get a lot of wrinkles on your head or sunspots or what have you. So all those things are still very important.
The only thing I want to add to that before we move on home is even a beard oil is great for your hair, for your bald head or your hair. Like when I did shave my head, if you remember, it was a year ago. I think right now it's probably a year and a half. I took 2 or 3 drops, and I used to put it in my head. Even now with my hair, I still put it in my hair because it's natural oils that your body needs.
Right, right. I'm gonna have to try that, and certainly if True North Beer Co. Again, I've been asking. So again, if you got something for the Ball Brotherhood, certainly shoot some samples our way, and certainly I would certainly love to try some of that stuff as well. So so I love promoting again healthy bald head care. Certainly as grooming promotes healthy beard care, and the combination, because I know a lot of bald headed brothers who have big beards. My brother-in-law in particular, he's like that. It's a very bushy beard, but he keeps his head shaved. So that's also a popular look, that especially with black men, that you're starting to see more. And even the guy you were just showing on his website, he has basically a bald head, with the long beard.
Yeah, they have a name for it, bold beard, beautiful, or something like that. I don't remember it. It's literally saying like, hey, it's their own. If that's what they're rocking it. If it works for you, it works for you.
Oh, okay, cool.
How long is your brother-in-law's beard?
Maybe a little bit, maybe about an inch longer than yours at this point. Last time I just saw him this last week at my daughter's grad parties. So yeah, maybe another inch longer than yours. Certainly at this point, and it's wide, so it's not like it doesn't just like thin on the sides and comes down. It kind of goes out and then down, so it's almost like a rounded kind of. So
what it is, he needs to just trim it, because what you see my beard, if I do this, it goes out. I comb it,
right,
to keep it in that look. He just needs
his kind of forms like almost like a circle that kind of comes out, but that's how he likes to wear it. So he
each their own.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's talk about dress code a little bit. Like you were saying earlier, I did have a bit of a rant about going out to a restaurant, and like I said, it wasn't so much about the people wearing sneakers, because I do recognize that there is some footwear, especially sort of like adult type of sneakers and footwear. In fact, I wore some today that I think is appropriate for going out in. I know some people tend to dress that up. It's almost like what you would wear like a moccasin shoe for. Some people are wearing sort of like the flat sort of canvas style sneakers or leather style sneakers that way. But my thing was, it's like when you go to a restaurant and you're a nice restaurant and you're wearing a t-shirt with inappropriate wording on it, or you're in shorts, or just certain things like, now again, I even saw this yesterday. Now, again, I was raised that when you're at the table to eat, you take your hat off. That's just something that you always do. Nobody takes their hat off at a meal anymore, and which I always found kind of strange. I thought that was just something that people were just kind of raised with. So just different things I was seeing like that. Knit hats, baseball caps. It doesn't matter what it is. Just people are just coming in, not in my view, properly dressed for like I said, a nice restaurant. Like I said, a restaurant that you have to make reservations for. You're waiting. Sometimes even after your reservation, you're talking about a 30-minute wait because the place is popular. And again, you want to, you dress nice for the occasion. You're out with your lady. You want to look nice, and then you look across the table, and people are just sort of wearing anything and everything. Kids are wearing, sneakers or whatnot. Like even the kids aren't being taught proper dress code. So again, I don't want to be too bougie. I know you got a lot of channels out there, style channels in terms of what men should be wearing and whatnot. I don't want to get so caught up in specific styles per se, but maybe just to talk about some fundamentals about what should be essential, I would say, in a man's wardrobe for 2025. What are certainly some keys that you think that are, that if I was to go into your closet now, it's like you should have this in your closet. What are some of the things that you would think are sort of like a men's essential? And then also you got to look at, if you got stuff in your closet, things to think about. How long have you had it? Because I get it. I mean, there's trends and whatnot. You definitely don't want to dress too trendy, because once trends change, then you might look at a place wearing things. Back in the day, people were wearing teal blues and purples and oranges and just a lot of these sort of bold colors because that was sort of like the fad at the time. But I think there's classic colors and combinations that I think never go out of style. That again should be in there. But again, I think there's also a time when a guy has to go into his wardrobe and say, is what I have, is it a bit dated? At this point, what might have been in style maybe 10, 15 years ago, is it appropriate for today? Or putting things in your wardrobe you don't have to worry about regardless of the time. It'll always be in vogue. So what are some of your thoughts on, again, wardrobe essentials, for a person who may be, going out, even if you go into the gym? I think there's gym attire that I think people need to be mindful of. But where would you start if you were going to build a wardrobe? So you had nothing in your closet.
Let's start from the feet and we'll just work ourselves up. Okay?
There you go. Go ahead.
All right. First of all, number one, shoes. Depends where you're going. If you're going to the gym, sneakers. I don't care if they're Pumas, Nikes, or Under Armour. Pick a pair that you like and comfortable. Dress shoes are number one. If you're going to a wedding, court, an interview, or a nice dinner with the missus. But you also need a pair of nice dress boots for the winter, because sometimes the dress shoes are not great for all year round. So be careful what you get. So you want to get at least. I have three dress shoes: 2 winter, 2 summer, 1 winter. Mm-hmm. Dress pants. Dress pants are always going to go well with anything. I always go with black because that's a universal color that would never go out of style for dress pants. A nice pair of jeans if you're just going out for dinner. It's something casual. Mm-hmm. Now for the gym, sweatpants or shorts. Those are the only 2 things I want to see you guys wearing. Mm-hmm. If you're wearing jeans to the gym, I'm going to probably make fun of you. Mm-hmm. Like I see people do it all the time, and I don't understand that. I think it's stupid, to be honest with you. You can't move in jeans as well.
Well, now you can't. I mean, they got these hyper stretch fabrics now that you can certainly move a lot more comfortable in. So like for a lot of guys, I guess you can. I know some power lifters who would certainly work out in jeans. But again, that's rare. It's not normal gym attire. And by shorts, we don't mean those 1970s shorts like the Richard Simmons or whatever. We're not talking about those kind of shorts.
Like Under Armour.
They should, yeah. You should. They shouldn't be so short that they see your undergarments under the shorts either, or too baggy.
You don't want to wear boots or dress shoes when you're working out. You wear sneakers.
Yeah.
What sneakers you want is up to you. So we got the bottom done. Let's move up to the torso now. Now for the gym, a shirt. I don't care what kind of shirt you wear. A graphic shirt or an Under Armour shirt. Pick one that is comfortable. Loose is better for the gym, I think. Now, if you're going out, it really depends where you're going. A polo usually is a safe bait because it depends where you go. Is universal again. But you can get a nice graphic T-shirt too. But it depends where you're going. I cannot stress that amount. If you're just going to a Texas Roadhouse, you can wear a graphic. Now, if you're going to like a 5-star restaurant, you don't want to walk into a graphic T-shirt. You probably want to walk with a polo or a button down.
Yeah.
Now, with my button down shirts, I always go white. The reason I always go white, again, it stays classic colors. I have other colors, or even black, or the stripe ones. Those are usually the couple colors I have that really don't go out of style if you think about it. They keep going rotation. You know what I'm talking about, right, Paul?
Yeah, sure.
So now we got the torso, decoration for the hands. A watch is always a safe bet. Mm-hmm. Get a watch, call it.
What's your view on? Because again, I've watched some content with some real sort of watch. I don't know what the term is. Watch files. Guys who are really about watches, different watches for different occasions. I know a lot of people despise an Apple Watch out of anything other than if you're working out or what have you. If you go into a nice place, they say you should have a nice watch. an Omega or some other kind of, one with a dial on it that you either have to wind up, or a quartz watch or something that's that looks like a regular watch. But I know a lot of guys despise Apple watches or any of these kind of watches that have the digital faces on them. What's your thoughts on that? Should a man have a timepiece, not just a watch, but a timepiece to add it to their wardrobe? What's your view on that?
I think you should wear a watch no matter what. I don't care if it's a smartwatch or a digital watch or a rotation job, or even those old school pocket ones you have and turn it, put it back in your pocket. Put a watch on you. So I think the wristwatch is the most classic thing you can do. I wear a smartwatch because it's convenient for me. Because except me going and washing my hands every 5 minutes at work, I have everything on my wrist.
Right.
But I also have several bands for the occasion. I have a old school, the clicker ones. I call them. I don't know what they're called. You know what I'm talking about. Like
clicker. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you have the bands. You can adjust it how big and small you want it. Like a Rolex comes in usually. Like
yeah. I mean, definitely a metallic band
links.
with links that you have to take out.
Links, thank you. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah,
links. That's my classic. I'm going to a special event one. I have this one I wear on a daily basis, and I have a work one. Usually, the work one stays on most times because I needed to be what was the word? Food safe appropriate. Cloth is not usually like a rubberish city, like where they come with the band that the watch comes with. Usually is safe proof for food.
Yeah.
So it really depends. Now on the other wrist, I just wear a plain band. I have usually a couple of them that say saying from the Bible or success, something to remind me through the day. You got this. Everybody needs to pick me up sometimes. Now, for a special occasion, I usually wear my gold chain or my beads. Those are two things I wear. Now, moving up to the face, I have 3 pairs of sunglasses.
Hey, before you go there, what about neckwear? So do you have a gold chain, or do you wear chains? Is one too many? And do you expose it? So again, do you typically wear it out, or do you wear it under? So I know for the show you wear it under, but how do you and
I always wear it
when
under.
does it get when does it become too much? Like you don't want to look like Mr. T, but what do you?
So personally,
where does it?
One chain like this with a cross is more than enough. You don't need more than that. That's more than enough. It's the reason I put it underneath. It's just a habit. I don't even think about it anymore to the point like it's always underneath. It's just a bad habit. Yeah, maybe.
So you never take it off even when you shower? You never take it off?
No, I never take it off. The only time I take it off when I get inspected because it's pretty new. It's only about 6 months old, and they inspect it. They clean it thoroughly in the little wash machine they have. It looks like brand new, like I got it from the store. Same thing with my earrings. My earrings are. I bought these together because they were running a big sale at K's. The only time I take them out is clean them, and that's it. And when they clean them and inspect them, that's only 2 times I take them off. And that's it. Do you want to move to the headwear now?
Well, I just want to touch on the jewelry again because again, this is a very personal area. So again, I'm not trying to judge people on what they can and can't wear, but again, for you. Again, is there such a thing as too much? If a man is wearing multiple rings or multiple bands or, like I said, multiple chains, if he has that big, thick Cuban chain on, is when does it become too much? Or even you said you have earrings. If a man starts to get 2 and 3 and 4, where it starts to go all the way up the ear and loop around, he's got one kind of going through there. Is there a point where it becomes too much for you when it comes to too much jewelry on a man, or likewise even for a woman? Does it get to a point where it becomes too much bling? It might have been popular at the time, or here's another one. Remember, I think the Invicta, those Invicta watches, like the giant. I mean, the band is like this big. The wristwatches. Really thick. They're about that thick, and the band is like that big. I know that was like a popular brand again, maybe 10 years ago, where everyone was getting
It
these
still is a little
heavy,
bit actually. I see a few people
those
wear it.
heavy Invicta watches or whatnot that it seem like they weigh 5 pounds a piece that you're wearing on your hand.
So okay, let's start with the wrist first. With fingers and if you're wearing one band, a gold chain, it's fine. Now with rings for a man, I don't think you need to wear rings for a man. I think that's too much. I have both rings and I don't wear them because every time I wear one, oh, you're married. You're like, but I'm wearing just a high school graduation ring or my karate ring that I got for my black belt or my tournament ring. Like it's nothing like I have only paid for one ring, was my graduation ring. Everything else was being given to me from an instructor or some kind of graduation. So I don't do the rings because again, like, how can you mix up a wedding band with a graduation ring? Like, I don't get that. Now, anything more than one chain, it's Mr. T, Hollywood. You're trying to show off, and most likely you're wearing a fake chain. That's my personal opinion.
Right.
Now with the earrings, I have 2 holes on each ear. I think that's enough. Now, when you start climbing up and you have the whole ear as a man, I'm like, yeah, no, way, way, way too much. I know some guys do the eyebrow starting to be popular again.
Yeah.
Again, you're a little bit too. To me, that's
well, like I said, I just believe in appropriateness, and I would prefer certainly a ring or piercing to a tattoo because again, that's something that you can kind of take off when needed. Like I said, if you're going out to a social function with someone and you want to take it off, but then in another space you might want to put it on. A tattoo is kind of permanent. Like if you got a face tattoo or something, that's not coming off anytime soon. But it rings in your ears or whatever, multiple loops or whatever, you can take those guys out for a night and put them back in the next day. So like I said, my thing has always been, depending on the event, going to a party, to a club, to a high-end social event, don't mind that. Going to a more business function or a more mature event, you can pull back on some things, but it doesn't have to be like all the time that you have to wear like all these things. Like I've seen women that wear the nipple piercings that you can clearly see through their garment, that they have these long nipple piercings and you can see the it's like this long. It's like, is that in certain settings? Do you have to wear it then? I mean, or what is the purpose of wearing something so tight that it can actually be seen unless you're trying to draw attention to yourself? I'm just saying that I think there's at certain times you should be able to pull back the jewelry or the piercings or what have you, and but in more familiar settings when you're around your own people or whatever, then yeah, I mean you can certainly be free to do so. I'm a more of a time and a place guy, but I would never tell anybody that you shouldn't wear this ever or you shouldn't have this ever. But be able to dial it up or down when it's appropriate. That's always been my rule of thumb.
I'll be honest with you, with tattoos, a neck tattoo. Yeah, I see where you're coming from on the neck tattoo side of it, but sleeve tattoos, I can tell you multiple CEOs I know that don't even roll the sleeves down because they have more tattoos than me, actually.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, some of the guys I work with, I mean, they're fairly high up and they have them as well. I mean, I think it's weird how we talk about, and that's the thing with this topic. Again, I'm somewhat treading lightly because what may have been taboo 10 years ago seems like it's no longer taboo now. So when we talk about dress codes and jewelry or piercings or tattoos, it's an evolving world. So again, I can just offer suggestions just based on my experience. But where things are going in a few years, I mean, again, what you had like the CEO of Apple with the nose ring, I don't know, but it definitely seems like there's certainly barriers that have been broken in the last few years when it comes to dress code, when it comes to jewelry and tattoos that certainly would have been clearly markers against you from the interview process. That a lot of guys wouldn't dare wear a lot of stuff to an interview. Now they're actually wearing it, and but again, people are looking somewhat beyond those things and looking more about, can the person do the job or not? Are they competent in the field that they work in? And that seems to be certainly gaining more and more traction. But will it still keep you out of certain rooms and places? I would think so. But it seems like with these younger generations now, they're becoming the CEOs. A lot of these things are becoming more accepted.
See, I see a lot of also nose piercings in men too now, and I see a lot of women put both nostrils. One nose is fine. Two is I think is overkill. Even when I know what it's called, but they put the bar between the nose.
So I saw that tonight actually. Yeah,
and I see a lot of females, and I think that's too much.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, I understand if you do one nose, fine. I'm cool. That's fine. Two, okay, I can deal with if you guys do, but that is way too much at that point. When they have both nostrils and that, then they have the lip done here, and then the tongue on top of that. And then I know some girls have their lip inside the lip pierced too. I'm like,
yeah,
okay, that's at some point, like you said, when is too much is too much.
Yeah,
if that's what you're into, that's cool. Like something I'm like, I don't think something should be pierced. Like nipples is a negative. I know some people pierce a.
So that's a deal breaker for you. Not getting too personal in your business, but
I'll be open with that. Yeah, that's a deal breaker for me. If
you're walking out,
yeah.
If you get that far, you're walking out.
Yeah, I know men that has their what pierced, the penis pierced, and I'm like, how is that even possible?
Right.
I just cringe about thinking about it.
Well, I think about what made that person think about it. You know what I mean? It's like to even do that. That cannot be comfortable, at least at the first piercing. So, but what would possess someone to say, "Oh, I want to get this done not only once, especially if you're a woman, I want to get it twice. I want both of them done." Again, I don't understand the mindset that drives a lot of that that thought process. So yeah, I mean, those are things that like I said, I can appreciate the ability to remove it, but the fact that you got it, I think it certainly says something about what you are willing and not willing to do. And
it was a trend from early 2000s to about recently, and just finally died out when people were piercing their cheeks, back of their necks. Piercings people were going crazy.
Yeah.
The most I ever done besides my piercings, you can't see anymore because I think I didn't go too crazy with it because it shrunk down. It was gauging the ears. And I gauged it to a very small gauge to the point it was able to shrink back. But if you gauge it too big, you're going to have this loop around your ear, and you're going to have to get surgery to fix that.
Yeah, and gravity is also going to take over as well. So, you're going to lose some integrity in the air. So,
yeah, but I see a lot of people walking in, and their ears are gauged. Yeah, they're not going to lose the job over it, but you're in an office setting again.
Mm-hmm.
How does that look?
Yeah.
Like tattoos, okay, it's tattoos. You can't do nothing about it, but you have that loose, flapping thing going now. Like you made a mistake as a kid. Like this, now you have to regret it because the bottom of the ear, like everybody knows, is dead skin. Really, it's nothing in there.
Yeah. Yeah,
so like I said, I got lucky enough. I didn't gauge it too big. I gauged it to the smallest gauge possible because I didn't want to go big when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And when I realized, when I finally I got bored of it, I took it out, and I was lucky enough it shrunk back. It's still a very small hole. You can tell a little bit when I take my earrings off, but you have to literally me telling, "Hey, look, my ear was gauged." I'm like, "Oh, I can barely tell." Most people say to me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right, so you want to cover. So again, I guess we got up to the neck area and whatnot. I think that's where we left off. So any other in terms of dress essentials, anything else you want to call
out? Glasses. If you wear glasses, wear them. A lot of people hate wearing glasses. I don't understand why. I think a nice pair of glasses, like actually, I'm outside my office. A nice pair of glasses. I like rimless personally.
Mm-hmm.
I think they can be a nice cherry on top of the whole dress thing.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, no, that's pretty good. I guess I'll kind of quickly go through mine. So starting just with the footwear. A classic pair of black dress shoes. Now again, I understand comfort. Now you got some brands out there like Stacey Adams in terms of style wise. The styles look nice, but again, they tend to be on the trendy side, and they're probably the most uncomfortable pair of shoes I've ever worn. So again, I'm at an age now where I'm not willing to compromise style for comfort. At the very least, if you do get a stylized shoe, make sure that you're able to replace the insole with an orthotic. And that's another thing as I've gotten older. Also, certainly both my wife and I, we both got tested and fitted for orthotics, and so we as much as possible we put that into our footwear. Take out the original insoles and put the orthotic insoles in. Certainly helps out, and certainly both my wife and I have had foot issues over recent years, and that's just something that is certainly becoming more of a must. Orthotics, certainly in your shoes, is certainly something to consider, and don't just wait until something bad happens before you get that to have that looked at. Have make sure you have the proper foot fittings for your shoes. So again, classic black. I also like burgundy. I'm a huge fan of burgundy. Or like a cherry color show and a brown. Certainly in a dress as well as a casual loafer is always good. I like the fashion boots as you talked about earlier. Certainly a stylish boot that you could wear out. That has that kind of goes up the leg a little bit, especially if the weather's a little bit inclement. But again, we can go inside, but it's not a winter boot. That's a totally different thing. I don't think you should wear a winter boot when you're going out to dinner necessarily. So again, I agree with you certainly on the footwear. As far as slacks, again, black is always in style. Navy is always in style. Charcoal gray is always in style. If you wanted like a cream or brown color or khaki color, just have those colors in it. But again, you don't necessarily orange and burgundy and lime green and all these colors, man. If for again a fun occasion, there's nothing wrong with kind of putting that on. But again, with those colors, you can never go wrong with those. Make sure you have a belt that matches your shoes. That's something that I think is important. I think those should match. Your socks should always be dark, especially if you're dressing in slacks and whatnot. Never white shoes. I can't tell you how many guys, especially from foreign countries, they come over and they wear white athletic socks with their suit. And you should always try to wear dark socks, if not black. You'll never go wrong with black socks. But again, that same thing: black, navy, charcoal gray, or like I said, a brown or a khaki sock. You can never go wrong with certainly those colors. But again, when you sit down, I shouldn't be seeing white sweat socks on in a business suit. That's always something that's kind of always annoyed me, certainly over the years when guys do that. Again, but these are just sort of proper things that, again, someone should learn very early on. So again, having that. As far as shirts, as Pete said, you can't go wrong with a white shirt, button shirt, and also I would say a black button shirt. I think black to me is like the new thing. I mean, it makes everything out, especially me being certainly an African American man wearing a black shirt. It just makes my skin tone sort of just pop out when I wear a buttoned black dress shirt. So again, black or white is good, but again, if you want to go to like a blue, a light blue, that's always also a classic color as well. I also tend to prefer now, both in slacks and in shirts, non-iron. Because the one thing I hate doing is, especially when I am in a hurry with everything else I'm doing, the last thing I want to kind of slow down and do is like, oh, I need to iron this shirt, or I need to iron these pants. So having slacks and shirts that are made with the fabrics where you at least there's a minimal, you might want to touch it up with an iron, but you don't want to be in there working the iron trying to get those heavy wrinkles out, or fabrics that wrinkle very easily. It's like as soon as you iron the thing, and then a few minutes later, just you sit down and get out of your car, it's wrinkled again. So again, avoid those sort of, those thick cotton fabrics that wrinkle easily. And for me also, because of just, my training and whatnot, and just the way my body is shaped, a lot of things don't necessarily fit on me right out the gate. So again, I like getting fabrics that stretch. And again, the way clothing is being made now with slacks, with jeans, as I said earlier, with shirts, you want something that's going to give you some give. Whether or not you are working out or not, if you gain weight, lose a little weight or whatever, it'll kind of grow with you. So I like, the ability to move. Same thing with suits now. A lot of the suits that are suit separates that are being made now have that kind of stretchable fabric that allows you to move. So anything that allows freedom of movement, I'm always for. The other thing I would say is, again, I think you should have at least one blazer. Again, it could be again, black, navy, or like I said, what do you call it? A khaki colored blazer. I think always is fun. And with a blazer, you can wear almost anything underneath. You can wear a t-shirt. With that, it just a jacket automatically. I think that's probably the fastest way you can make something people just notice that you're sharper is just by putting a jacket on. And I've seen a lot of nice get-ups where guys wearing jeans. And again, I prefer certainly fitted jeans, again, with some stretch. I don't like the loose or the baggy ones per se. But again, the fitted jeans, but not so tight that they're cutting off circulation. Get something that's got some stretch with it. Make sure that they're long enough, okay, that they should get to your ankles. And again, a pair of dress shoes or dress boots. But you could wear a t-shirt with a jacket, and you're sort of in a higher status, a high level of function, and you can go into a lot of different places, certainly with that particular look. So I love a blazer that a guy can wear. And as far as suits, again, if you had, maybe 2, maybe 3 suits, again. Black suit never goes out of style. Navy blue suit never goes out of style. Charcoal gray never goes out of style. And you can mix and match in terms of different combinations you can wear. Your necktie. Now again, I was raised with the idea that you always want your tie to be a bit flare. So again, especially if you're wearing these somewhat muted color suits, what really makes you stand out is having a nice, bright looking tie that, pops out that has some red in it, that has some accents, something that really steps out. Wearing a tie bar to kind of lift up the top, or even wearing a tie clip, so you don't want the tie kind of swinging left and right. Where you always have to kind of reposition it, so you want it to kind of stay where it is. I've always been a fan of tie bars. That's an old school sort of a piece, but I love tie bars and tie clips that keep my tie perfectly where I want it. And I think that's as far as the dress, as long as you have those essentials. So if I went to your wardrobe, if I had a son who was like 16, 17 years old, okay, we need to get you a suit. Because again, we want you to look decent for different functions. Get you some nice shoes, a good suit, or like I said, at the very least, a blazer. Because a blazer, you can dress up jeans and a t-shirt, or not so much a t-shirt, but a nice kind of fitted shirt with a nice blazer. That's the fastest way that I think of that you can certainly uptick your look. Is just having something, keep it in your car. When you go in certain places, if you're going into a building or a nice establishment, you can easily just reach back there, put that blazer on, and you look like $1 million when you go into the establishment. So that's a fast dress up that you don't have to necessarily think that much about, but just keep it handy if in fact you go. Because some places, some restaurants, even still, they won't let you in without a jacket. So again, if I got a jacket in the car, go get the jacket. I put the jacket on, and I'm able to get into the establishment. Yeah.
Do you feel name brand makes a difference?
No. Well, I mean, obviously, some people who are checking for brands and whatnot, it may be. For the general population, I don't think it matters much. I think if it's a quality brand, you don't want to be necessarily replacing it every couple of years. It should be doing. There's a lot of, I think, non-branded merchandise, and again, I kind of work somewhat in that field. There's a lot of companies that make the same the same fabrics, the same thing. What makes it a $200 item and what makes it a $50 item is the logo or name tag that you put on it. But it's the same merch. So I don't mind looking for guys sort of off the grid that give me that same look and feel without the heavy price tag. I'm not a big fan where you have to spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on merchandise when it's not going to matter to most people. Like I said, yeah.
Let's say you're shopping. Let's say you're window shopping online. Would you shop on Amazon a polo that is between $20 and $30, or would you go to a Kevin Klein outlet or a polo outlet and buy that from there?
Well, what I don't mind doing both. I love window shopping. I like going into stores and trying things on, at least to get a general sense of how something wears on me when I put it on. I'm in the mirror and I kind of look, but I take notes. So if I can find that same or similar item on Amazon, then I may give it a try. But at the same time, I don't feel the need to just out the gate, oh, something's like $150. A shirt is $150 shirt. Oh, yeah, that must be good. So therefore, I must buy it. I think, again, the idea of these brands, these apparel brands, that overinflate their prices just based on the brand, I just don't think you have to go that far. Because, again, I know a lot of these guys, the same thing. I mean, all kinds of industries, tires. Like, there's only like a few companies that make all the, BF Goodrich and Goodyear. And there's only like a handful of tire manufacturers, but you got 20 different brands of tires. You don't have to get the most expensive Michelin tire necessarily. Now, again, I know some people swear by Michelin, but my point is only a few people make tires for certain brands, but just like with apparel. Shout out to Braxton the Snake Fiend. Appreciate you being here tonight. Thanks for hopping in. But yeah, I think it takes some time. I'm a bit of a thrifter when it comes to that. Like I said, I'm a Marshalls guy. I shop at K&G stores. I don't know if that's available everywhere, but I just don't think that you necessarily have to buy a $1,500 Brooks Brothers suit in order to look sharp. I think there's other brand names out there that you can certainly find if you just put a little work into it. But certainly go to those places again, get the proper fitting. Make sure go to a place and go to an old school, even your dry cleaners down the street if they do hem work or whatnot, and just get fitted. Get your waist measurement done, the proper sleeve length, or at least armed with the information so that when you do go out there and shop, make sure that you're equipped that information at least to start. Now again, not everybody makes everything to the size, right? So you go in some areas, they say, yeah, it's a 44 long suit, but it feels tighter. And in some brands, it feels looser. So at some point, you're going to have to try some stuff on. And even if you do buy from Amazon, again, we have Prime. So if something doesn't fit properly, then yeah, absolutely, I send it back. So I have no problem in doing that. But I think you can certainly use a combination of both. I think certainly online can certainly give you some more choices and flexibilities than what the stores do, quite frankly. But certainly, that personal service, at least to kind of understand who you are, I think it's also good to do. So I would say do both. But if you find a better deal online, then take the online deal.
So it depends what it is of a name brand. Like jeans, the most comfortable jeans I have found is Kevin Klein's. I have not found anything more comfortable than that because something needs to breathe down there. If you get with my drift, I'm trying to be
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
That's why I go with Kevin Klein's, to be honest with you guys. And I get everything on clearance. I get last year's model. What's the difference with this year's and last year's model? Absolutely nothing. So, and I get coupons. Trust me, I am a bargain shopper. I will bargain my ass off. I will even flirt with the girl who's catching me. Hey, that's a nice necklace. And can I get a 20% discount on top of that? And, make them laugh a little bit. You never know. You can try. But when it comes to like Polo, for example, Ralph Metro, whatever his name is, you go in the store, even online, you're paying $110 for a black plain Polo.
Yeah.
$110 fucking dollars.
Yeah.
And what is the difference between Kevin Klein's, Under Armour, or Amazon's brand? Nothing.
Yeah.
Just the name.
Yeah. Shout out to Braxton, Snake Fan says, Mr. Bennett, when you see clothes you like before trying them on you, you got to see yourself wearing it first. Yeah, I mean, certainly, I can certainly see it. Certainly in my imagination. Like I said, I don't mind trying things on, but again, if I could find the same product online for a better price, then certainly I will do that. And sometimes you can even go back to the store. Some stores now, they actually compare. So it's like, look, I found this same shirt, same SKU online, and they'll be like, okay, well, if it's for that price, we'll give it to you. So I've done that in the past. So definitely, but I say, do both. Like I said, but making sure you're properly fitted for certain things. Just like women got to be fitted for, I know women who buy bras off the rack, and you need to get yourself properly fitted. Go to like a boutique and get the measurement done before you go in and just buy a bra, just sort of off the rack that's not going to fit you right. So I think, guys, you have to do the same thing. Braxton also says, Ross, Burlington's, City Trends, Men's Warehouse, Steinmark, Men's Warehouse, Spencer's, Hot Topic, Big Lights, Walmart. Yeah, anywhere you can go, and Goodwill. I got a lot of items that I've got, because there was the last job I had, there was a Goodwill type of place very close to my job, and I used to go there at lunchtime. And I found all kinds of things in there that I still rock today that were in good shape, good quality, and, still rock them. So, again, I think it's, when you put it together, and you look in the mirror and you like your look or whatnot, things fit well and whatnot, then yeah, it doesn't matter where it comes from. So if people try to impress you by saying, okay, well, I went to this high-end mall and bought these items, and spent, hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to put that together. I mean, look, if you got the bread, you got the bread. But I think for, again, if you're willing to put a little more patience into the process, I think you can find some good values out there. Markdowns, clearance houses, Nordstrom Rack, or off Saks Fifth Avenue and in different places where you can find some deals. Now, I'm a Marshall-holic, so you'll always find me in a Marshalls if there's one near. I'm always gravitating towards that to try to find something, a diamond in the rough, so to speak. But, yeah, to spend high-end money just out the gate, I've been to a few Hugo Boss outlets. And what they be wanting for a shirt, $80 for a T-shirt, and those kind of prices and whatnot. I'm like, let me look around a little bit more and see if I can find something. I mean, certainly the stuff looks quality, but yeah, $80 for a T-shirt, or $200 for some slacks. Yeah, I think those are things I may want to be a bit smarter with going around. So again, Calvin Klein, Polos, Lacoste, Tommy Hilfiger. Absolutely. You can find, there's all kinds of different brands out there. Yeah. At Hot Topic and Spencer, because I got a goth pink rocker. If you haven't met one, or a black one, now you have one. Yes, I can tell from your picture that you're a little off the grid. So absolutely Hot Topic. I know my girls used to shop a lot at Hot Topic when they were younger as well. So yeah, you can find, like I said, apparel in different places. But again, don't necessarily go off the brand, because I can tell you a lot of brands are made by the same company. Maybe they may go a little bit more, certain brands, for a little bit better material, but it's the same manufacturing process on these brands. And so be mindful. I remember when, I don't know if you guys remember back in the day, Stephon Marbury, he was, in fact, they had a 60 Minutes on him where he was selling basketball sneakers for $15. And, the thing he was saying was, it's like, look, you can buy the $150, $200 Nikes, but the Starberries, it's the same shoe. And so they cut the shoe open and looked at the materials and the fabrics and whatnot, and to say, was there a noticeable difference? And the differences were relatively slight. But because it's Nike, or because if it's a star, if it's Michael Jordan or LeBron James, that adds a significant amount of price to the cost of the shoe. Now, again, if you want to be a brand ambassador in that sense, then again, be my guest and go ahead. But for me, if I find a shoe, regardless of what it is, but it gives me the function that I need, again, unless I'm going to be around in circles where they're going to judge me based on the shoes that I'm wearing, Like I said, I could care less about brands. I just want good value and good quality for the money. And you can keep the brands. At
See, here's
least
the thing.
that's the way I've always thought about it.
If I walk into any group, a business meeting, a conference, anything that you're gonna trust me what kind of shirt I'm wearing, or not what shirt, what kind of brand I'm wearing, you can go fuck yourself. I'll take my business somewhere else
Mm.
because that should not tell me who the fuck I am.
Mm.
One thing I learned about every person that I know who actually has money, who has bread, they don't care about brand. They buy the cheapest stuff.
Mm.
Something to
No,
buy expensive.
Warren Buffett. I mean, where is a very modest when it comes to you look at who's the guy Mark Cuban and what the guy. I mean, these guys that even like Mark Zuckerberg. Remember, he started wearing the hoodie. He made the hoodie popular. Going to business events and whatnot. I mean, that became sort of his brand when he started wearing hoodies to certain functions. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of the smart people. They say, oh, like you said, the rich people, they buy the cheap ones, but the poor people tend to buy the brands.
Yeah, like Adam Sandler, he buys the cheapest shit ever. Even the guy who played John Wick, what's his name? Help me out here, Paul. You know what I'm talking about. Who played John Wick?
Oh yeah, Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves. He does not get name brand stuff. And anytime he needs to wear like a very expensive suit for an event, he rents it.
Yeah.
He rents even the jewelry. Most of these guys, we see with this big bling and all that stuff. Most of these Hollywood stars don't own that stuff.
Yeah.
Rent it.
Yeah. Or if, like I said, if they're brand ambassadors, then they get stuff for free anyway. So it's like, if you want to board, yeah. So again, it's for
Rock
them.
is a great example of that.
Mm-hmm.
He works with the Under Armour very well.
Yeah.
He gets a lot of free stuff from Under Armour.
Oh yeah. Now I do have a pair of the PR4. I think I got the PR3s, the PR4s. I did like a sneaker. My only caveat, I like their performance overall. They run small though. Like I got a 14 size 14 of his shoe, and it still seems small on me.
The greatest thing for a gym, I'll give him credit there for the gym.
Yeah,
you can go through hell with those. Like I usually replace my gym sneakers 3 to 6 months. I usually, they're just done after that.
Mm-hmm.
But with the Under Armours, I can get a whole year at them. Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can say, okay, it's time to retire you guys, and move on to the next pair. What I personally do is before I retire a sneaker, I buy one for every day. I'm going to the store or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And when I replace my gym sneaker, I replace my everyday sneaker. It goes to my gym sneaker, and I get a new one for every day out.
Yeah.
You see how I makes sense how I rotate it?
Well, it's interesting because certainly growing up, we didn't have a lot of means, so I ran sneakers into the ground, like literally until there was a hole in the sneaker.
Same here.
Now I have quite enough. I probably have maybe about 30 pairs of sneakers, but I keep them in rotation.
Yeah.
And so they last because again, I don't play basketball anymore. So that was a major reason why shoes got ran out, because I was playing a lot of basketball, a lot of running. So because I don't do a lot of running anymore, so again, they don't take a lot of wear and tear. The only thing that's really aged out a sneaker is if I've outgrown it. So again, certainly since maybe 5 years ago, my feet have grown. Like I used to be 11 and a half, used to be my size for years. And now I'm nearing like the size 13 range right now. So again, a lot of sneakers or a lot of shoes in general, I've had to retire simply just I just outgrew them. And so I had to get rid of them. So, but generally speaking, I can make a footwear kind of last a while because I don't overdo it. If I wear one pair of a particular sneaker for the week, that's more than enough. And again, most times than not, I'm only wearing it just for like my 45-minute workout or whatever, and then I'm taking them off. I'm not beating them up because again, I do a lot of squats, deadlifts, and just a lot of lifting, but I'm not doing a lot of running. So they're not taking a lot of wear and tear at this point.
Yeah. So when I go to work, I usually wear a pair of sneakers or old pair of sneakers, or old pair of boots, because I'm going to the kitchen. So my shoes stay at work for a reason. They stink, they reek, and they smell. So you can pick which one of the three you want to go with, because they're not going in my car. Very simple. When I leave a job, I throw them away and I get a new pair of work shoes. I am not worried about $30. I can get them very easily, but I can get this work discount very easily with work shoes.
Yeah. Law's point is true. Yeah. They graduate to grass cutting shoes or painting shoes. So again, if I got to do any major paint jobs or whatever, they worn out, then I'll certainly wear them for
that's where I was going
for those
with
jobs as well, for sure.
So in the winter, when I wear boots instead of sneakers, my old boots that got beat up are my everyday beat up, going out to walk out, like do whatever I want with them. Now, the rare time I have off, like today, I wear my nice sneakers to go out. And a nice pair of shorts, jeans. I wear jeans today and a polo to go to church and do my thing afterwards. And that was good enough. I don't need these big high name brands. I really don't. Like the last pair of sneakers I bought was Puma off Amazon for $35.99.
Yeah,
they're a very comfortable shoe. My last pair of Jordans, I only have one pair of Jordans I own. I got them on clearance from the Nikes outlets in crossings up here. I got them for $85. I am cheap comes to shoes because that's the first thing he's going to go wearing off. Clothing, I've never been like, I need name brand. Like I said, the only thing name brand I got is the jeans.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I go back to Kevin Klein. They send me a lot of coupons. Wouldn't you use the coupons?
Oh, absolutely. I'm always looking for, especially for online deals. Retail Me Not and all these places. I look especially if there's an online coupon code. Absolutely. Now again, Reebok was a thing back in the day as well. I especially in the '90s, the Reebok pumps. I owned a pair of the Reebok pumps back in the '90s. So I recall those very well. But now, see, a lot of these shows, if you talk, a lot of these shoes, if you talk about Reebok, British Knights, if you can find, it's almost like vintage pair, and certainly there is a market for a lot of these classic shoes. You can go to some of these shoe outlets, and they got the classic vintage shoes, and you see them, they're wrapped in this Saran wrap when they're in the, when they're being resold. Yeah. So again, you do have some classics. And you do have some guys who are collectors of sneaker wear, and that's a totally different category of person as well. But again, I my thing is I would rather buy a few more items of something, even so for example, if you're talking about one pair of shoes for 150, give me two pairs for 75 of similar look and style. And I'll make them outlast the 150s. That's always kind of been my my thing. Because again, I just don't put as that much wear on them, and especially if you give me two different colors or whatever, then I can kind of mix and match with different apparel that I'm wearing. I like the idea of having flexibility, and so the hardest thing in the morning is kind of choosing what combinations I want to do, But I also want to talk about now one habit that I did adopt recently is if I buy something, I get rid of two items of that same thing. Yeah. So if I buy a shirt, I got to get a T-shirt, which I just bought, so I got to get rid of two T-shirts because I can be a bit of a hoarder. So lately, I know, with my daughter moving out, there's been like a mass. If we had the time, we might do like a garage sale, but we just don't have the time to sit out all day and do that. So usually we just get bags, those big 55 gallon size bags, trash bags. We put a ton of clothes in there. My wife, she's really good at indexing, so she knows like how many shirts, how many blouses, how many slacks, how many pants or whatever. She keeps a journal, and we just give that to Goodwill. And at the end of the year, there's a tax write-off for us. So so we've just adopted that. And my thing now is if I haven't worn an item in over a year, I probably don't need it. So I tend to just donate it. So that's kind of like the thing now. Like if you haven't been pulled out in rotation in quite some time, I don't see the need to really keep you, certainly in the rotation. So that's been something that's been very useful for me. And certain things I was getting rid of, like, socks, I tend to kind of overdo it on the socks a little bit because I like different styles like argyles and whatnot. Again, threw out a ton of socks that I've had for a long time. If the socks start rolling down your leg, you have to constantly kind of re-roll it up. Yeah, it's time to get rid of those socks. And so, and same thing with your undergarments or whatnot. Again, if the waistband is such where again it's kind of not fitting around your waist properly, or you outgrew them, and you get the red lines and marks around your waist because they're so tight and it's sort of digging in and leaving red marks in your skin, it's probably a good idea to get some new undergarments. You know what I mean? So again, keeping all of your items. If your belt has, if you've had to punch holes in the belt, or if it's kind of like torn or whatever and the leather's torn, it's probably time for a new belt. So, so I think certainly keeping your items fresh in your wardrobe. If your shoes start developing cracks in the shoe that you can't buff out or hide with, a good shoe polish or what have you, it may be time to get rid of those as well. So again, I'm learning just more over time not to just hold on to things just for the purpose of holding on to it. Yes, I may have an idea in my head that I may want to wear this today. When I look at my open wardrobe and say, hey, let me get this today. I may want to try something. But again, if you've just been sitting and I haven't seen you for a while, it's time to go. So we're going to continue that certainly for the rest of the summer, unloading and getting a bit slimmer when it comes to all of our clothing. Give them the Goodwill. We get a nice, like I said, a charity write-off, and it's just a good way to keep things pertinent and maybe do some good at the same time, especially when something is outworn, one is used or it's just not in style anymore.
No, I totally agree, because a lot of shirts, like I buy, to be honest with you, like once through a year, I always get rid of shirts. They start getting old, they're getting ripped, anything like that, right? Now, I buy like maybe between 4 to 5 shirts every year I go to Comic-Con, because that's the only way you can find me at Comic-Con. They're a Comic-Con exclusive. It's the only place that you can find me at Comic-Con. You remember last year, I bought a couple shirts for both of us, remember?
Yeah.
And they're good. They're a good deal. Buy 5 for $20. Okay, you can't go wrong with that. And they're good material too. They're not in like, there's just a guy who press shirts. I'll take the guy who press shirts. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, for sure. Now, let me ask you this. So now Braxton's going to, so I talked about getting rid of your undergarments. Okay, so for him, it's boxers and boxer briefs for me. So do you have a preference?
Yes, I do.
When it comes to
boxers.
Now, if you told me a thong, I'd be...
I can't do breathe. I can't do beef or rocks or any of that stuff. The Kraken needs to breathe, man. He needs to breathe. Do you understand what I'm dealing with here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good now. I got my look.
There you go. Yeah. Certainly, again, boxer briefs. Well, certainly not boxer anymore, because again, I don't need anything dangling. You know what I mean? So again, boxer briefs is what I've kind of come down to. I'll just leave it there. I wear a lot of A-line kind of tees and whatnot, the quote unquote white beater types. Certainly I wear those because again, you want to keep you don't want to outsweat your clothes. That's another thing. I don't have to do a lot of laundry because again, like even with this polo shirt that I'm wearing, I have certainly an undershirt, a t-shirt underneath, to keep your things fresh as well. So you don't have to constantly wash. Again, if you overwash your clothes, even when in that, you're going to wear them out. I don't care what it is. If you have blacks, they're going to start to fade. Or if you have whites, it's hard to keep them white, certainly over time. So certainly, now I know some guys, do you typically wear an undershirt with a dress shirt?
Always.
Yeah. I know a lot of guys don't. Some guys don't. It's like the bare skin on the shirt, and I'm like, you're going to wear it out.
Like work shirt, even my work shirts, my chef coats, I wear. Technically, is actually company's policy. Every company I work, you must wear a black t-shirt underneath at least.
Yeah,
I just wear a t-shirt, undershirt under. To be honest with you, so for work, I use a sleeve one just in case I get burned or I get really messy. I can take that off really fast.
Mm-hmm.
For at home, I just wear a plain beater. That's all I underneath.
Yeah, for sure.
For years, I didn't when I was younger. Like I thought it was stupid. But partially is because my grandmother forced me to wear undershirts for years and years and years. You know how you kids, you were forced to do things. So I
Yeah.
wanted a small face, like, fuck you, I'm a rival. Woohoo, I'm not wearing a t-shirt undershirt. And like I looked at them like, this is stupid. So I started
Yeah.
wearing undershirts.
Well, like I said, I mean, and if it's got holes, it's got to go. Like I said, I get like back in the day, if you didn't have much, you wore your undergarments until they got holes in there, and then you got rid of them. I get that, but again, as soon as you're able to get some means and to say, look, keep your stuff fresh now. No, I think I was watching one of the grooming channels, and the guy said you should replace your underwear every 2 years. I'm not sure about that necessarily, but certainly, again, depending on your washings and if they still fit properly over some time, definitely, you need to keep even that part of your game fresh, men and women. Some women be wearing bras for years, and you see it starts to stripping and the tears and everything. Yeah, it's time to upgrade your bra, and
This is how I
probably
feel.
especially
It's
with
time
women.
to change, change my underwear. I have to replace my boxers. Is if you bend down to grab something and you're whoosh, and it rips right down the middle,
Yeah,
it's time to replace the set.
yeah. So shout out to Coach Berg in the building. So the only clothes I place in the dryer are unders and some gym wear. Hand dry all those clothes. So you still got a clothesline, Coach, in your backyard. You still got the wheelie thing with the rope and that you wheel stuff in. You still doing the clothes hangers and waving it in the wind. Let me know if you still do that. That's definitely old school. And I know a lot of people want, certainly depending on what it is, you don't want to put certain things in the dryer. But certainly let me know if you got the classic clothes hanger that you're able to hang your clothes on. Says jockey underwear gives a free pair. Get holes, gives free pair when you get holes in there as well. That's a pretty good guarantee. If they're saying guarantee no holes. But again, I would think a lot of it depends on what you're doing. Certainly there. It says V-neck and U-neck shirts. I'm the team U. I'm actually team V because again, what I don't like is the undershirt to show with the button shirt. So I don't want to see a shirt line here. So I prefer the V when I'm wearing polos and certain things. I think a V line certainly is appropriate in that regard. So I prefer that. Now, if I'm wearing a like I said, a jacket, what I also started to buy lately is I like the T-shirts that have a high neck, right? So a neck that comes up here. I also like wearing jewelry with a high neck because, quite frankly, I don't want the jewelry to necessarily be on the back of my neck. Or if I'm wearing like some sort of chain or something, I'd rather wear a button shirt and put the necklace under my collar. Because again, sweat, body odor, and things like that. Again, grooming. I know you talked about how you get yourself cleaned. I don't necessarily want to have to bother and do that. So, generally, I do have some pieces that I wear on occasion, but more times than not, what I wear really determines whether or not I put the jewelry on. And I've never owned like a cross or a chain like that I just wear all the time. I just never had, certainly a desire to do that. But certainly, depending on what I'm wearing, will certainly determine what my jewelry choice would be if I wear a timepiece or not. What type. I have different watch faces that I have, but I never bought an iWatch. Everyone in my family has an Apple Watch except me. So I'm looking. Maybe I may do something in the future, but for now, like I said, I just don't find the need. But we're coming towards the end of the show. Like I said, I got an early flight in a few hours. I got to be catch an Uber to the airport and get going here. So we're about to round out.
Just stay up all night because by the time you pack and shower and you hit the bed, it's going to be time for you to get up. Just stay up all night and sleep on the plane.
Yeah, well, it's a short flight. I mean, and that's the thing. That's the thing too. The flight is so short. I barely sleep on the plane. So it's kind of like I don't get I don't get a lot of rest. I'm kind of amped up, like I said, when I get on the plane, and like I said, it's not always a something where it's comfortable. And I'm a tall, so unless I'm in first class seating where I can kind of put the seat back or whatever. And you hear the constant announcements and stuff all the time. So rarely am I ever like knocked down on a plane, especially on a ride that gets you there another 2 hours.
Now, but now you're flying with your job. Do you fly first class, business class? How you flying?
Well, right now, the coach is kind of what's paid for. Like, this is all kind of company travel. So they're not, if I was going like an international cross country or something, they may allow me to upgrade to business class, or I may have to pay the difference from that. But again, for business stuff, is mostly economy or economy plus, and then they reimburse you for the expenses. But yeah, if I booked the first class ticket for a 2-hour plane ride, they probably would say no, or someone will call me about it. So I'm still learning. The same thing with dinner, right? I mean, you can go out to some nice restaurants and charge it up on the account, but again, they give you caps. I think it's like $100 per day cap on food expenses. So if you want to go out to Del Frisco's and blow it for that day, that's up to you. Or if you want to buy yourself breakfast and lunch and then have that nice meal at night, up to $100, then you can certainly use it then. But if you don't come to them with a $300-400 bill for one person. So those are things you got to be sort of understand the book as well.
Behind that is even now the prices of food eating out, $100 usually is not enough. Usually about $150-200 a day for eating out sometimes.
Yeah. Well, again, maybe once I get into some upper classes, maybe that may change. But we're going to wrap up the show again. We want to end this at 1:55. So again, any final thoughts, Pete, on your end as we close this thing out?
Be cheap and save your money.
Absolutely. I'll co-sign on that. Again, there's great value out there if you can actually look for it and find it, and you definitely don't want to. You won't need 100. No, I typically don't. But I'm just saying. But for some high rollers, they may certainly try to do that. But yeah, I mean, so again, common sense when it comes to dress and dress code, wear for the occasion. And dress appropriately. I've always been taught either dress at the level of the event or one notch up from the event that you're at. You never want to be known poorly for your appearance. So always take that in mind, whether you're bearded or bald. Just make sure that your grooming is proper in everything you do. But again, I want to thank you guys again for joining us on the Gray Area. Make sure you hit the like button, certainly as you leave the show, and both here and on the Sparta HQ Network. So, again, I'll be on the road again next week, so I'll try to participate. I should be here for the one-on-one sports show on Wednesday, and I know Sparta's going to have some shows coming up, so next week we'll be on this Gray Area again, while I'll be flying out very early in the morning again. But certainly, doing what we can, certainly to make these channels be all they can be. So appreciate BMU for the platform. Appreciate always sharing the stage with my man, Sparta HQ. For myself, Mr. Bennett, he is...
This is Sparta!
That goes to Sparta. This has been the Gray Area. You guys take care. Enjoy the rest of your week. God bless, and we will see you next week. Good night.